Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this morning's episode of Stacking the Box. Iain MacMillan here, Sterling Holmes here. We will be reacting to Week 8 of the NFL season, as well as previewing tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants. First things first, Sterling, we're both coming into this show off a win. Falcons and Chiefs get the job done yesterday.
Yeah, I texted you. I said, "Oh, the Falcons back, baby."
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'll take the win. I'm still not super confident in my Atlanta Falcons, but we'll be talking about that game as well as the Chiefs game, give our full reactions to that. Also going to talk about what I'm dubbing the Miracle in Maryland.
I like that.
Thank you. Jet season over. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles' big win against the Bengals, and then we're going to recap Sunday Night Football before wrapping up the show with previewing, like I said, Monday Night Football's interconference showdown. But before we get to that, it is the greatest time of year. Again, football's back and it's here to stay till February. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last night by making picks on Underdog. Win up to 1,000 times their money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. I love playing Underdog, especially on primetime games. I will make an Underdog lineup for tonight's game between the Giants and the Steelers. I have not yet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take, when I do it, I will put Russell Wilson to go lower than his passing yards total. I think he's going to have a bad game tonight. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Stacking the Box. That is all one word, no spaces. Stacking the Box. And Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Stacking the Box to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP, which is 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I really need to get because I can rip through that legal jargon very quickly. I'm like Twista. I go quick on that bad boy. But what I need to do is get it inputted into my little board over here.
Yes.
So what and I just press the button, and I'll work on that, Ian.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll have a contest. See who can get through quicker.
We won't be a contest, Ian. If you think you're going quicker than me on that, you're out of your gourd.
All right, mark the calendar. That's going to be an off-season move. I think we can wait until the off-season. That'll be a mid-July thing. We'll have a contest to see who can say the legal jargon quicker. By the way, Sterling, it is before we get into football. It's Halloween week. I've worn my spooky sweater. I got some spooky kitty cats on there, some lightning bolts there, some fun hats. You are not wearing anything Halloween related.
No, but if you want to know something spooky, someone's working on my siding outside my house, and my dog hasn't barked yet. So when is he gonna bark? That's the real spooky season.
Philip in the chat says, what is Ian going to come up with today to hate on the Chiefs? Great question. Just wait and see.
Stick around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. We will be back Wednesday, though, which will be one day before Halloween. Can I get you to wear some kind of Halloween costume on Wednesday?
If I remember.
Oh.
Probably. Right. I just don't.
Are you
I
not
dressed
a
up as
Halloween
David
guy?
Bowie No, I dressed up as David Bowie last year. It was great. I don't know if we did it for the show or not, but I was full on David Bowie face and everything.
10P Kid says worst 7-0 team of all time. Not far off, but the Steelers a couple of years ago were like 11-0 and they sucked that year. I think they were 11-0 and then like lost like 5 of their last 6 and then got destroyed in the first round of the playoffs. So they're not that bad. All right, let's start with the most electric moment in the NFL yesterday, which, like I said, I'm dubbing the Miracle in Maryland, which nobody else has said yet, so I'm going to coin that phrase. Jayden Daniels, Hail Mary. To be honest, the entire game was pretty boring. It was a pretty defensive game. Bears go down late in the game, score a touchdown with a 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game with 25 seconds left, somewhere around 25 seconds left. And then Jayden Daniels, and of course, by the way, in a few follow me on Twitter, you saw that I was celebrating the Bears -2.5 bet win that I had, which Sterling was your pick actually last week too. Best spread bet was the Bears. So we were both looking good there. And then yeah,
it's your fault. It was an early
it
call.
might-
You early called it. I would have
might be
hit.
my fault.
You would have hit, and you jinxed it. You ass. What are you doing, Ian? You don't. Gambler does not do that until there's zeros. Gamblers don't celebrate.
I know.
Come on.
I know. And that's the worst part. I know better. That was an all-time rookie mistake. I know better than to celebrate a win before the clock hits zero. Usually I even like to wait a couple minutes after the clock hits zero to make sure there's no funky business going on. I don't know what happened. I got excited in the moment. I tweeted it out. That's a win. Gambler bless. Gambler giveth. And then a 70-yard bomb. Caught by the Commanders. Game over. Win Commanders. Bet lost. It was an electric moment. Those games, those last second plays like that never go my way. I'm on the wrong side of those 100% of the time. Fun ending, though. Gambling
Great.
aside, it was a fun ending.
Awesome. The fact that Jayden Daniels was able to play was awesome. I mean, we thought he was out. He played and was still able to make that throw late in the game. Ridiculous. Jayden Daniels, hats off to you. Number 29. Was it Tyreek Stevenson, the cornerback?
Yes.
Don't be surprised if he tries to get into the facility today and his card does not work. Dog was celebrating, talking smack to the Washington fans as the play's going on, looks back, goes, oh bleep, let me get involved, runs over, proceeds to be the guy that tips the ball up, not just up and back into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. I don't know if there's anything worse a guy could do on that play than what he did. And he tweeted it out and was like, I'll come back. I learned from this, bear down. And I'm laughing so hard, just going, that's something you learn in high school. Like, that's not a learning move in the NFL when you've been around a few years. I appreciate you taking responsibility, good, but how out of touch can you be? It's like when someone drops the ball as they're running into the end zone before they get to the end zone.
Kyle Pitts almost did it.
Yes, Kyle Pitts almost did it. I'm sitting going here. You've seen this happen before. You've seen videos. You get talked about this. Why the hell do you do it? Just take one more step. You don't look cool doing it. 29, Tyreek, you don't look cool pumping up the crowd as then you proceed to run over and tip the ball up for a game-winning touchdown. You look like a dumbass. And by the way, Caleb Williams on the sideline just perpetually pissed off. Looks like he's the angriest little kid in the world. I'm sitting here going, dude, you played like 2 scoops of ass the entire game. What are you complaining about? The defense,
Against a bad defense, too.
Against a horrible defense.
Yeah.
Like Caleb. Accountability. The Bears, I mean, they're talented. Very talented. But either coaching's off, culture's off. Again, they'll overcome because of the talent they have on the field on most games. But this was a perfect example of they're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, people want to blame me for the loss for jinxing. It's actually the cornerback's fault. I mean, he was celebrating mid-play. At least I'm 200 miles away from the game. I don't have any effect on it. He had a real effect on it. That was a tough look. But yeah, my main takeaway outside of the ending of the game, neither quarterback played great, but I can excuse Jayden Daniels not having his best stuff for, number one, he was hurt. Number two, he went up against, one of the best, if not the best secondary in the NFL in Chicago. No excuse for Caleb Williams.
None.
Commander's defense stinks. He should have been able to light them up.
Even funnier, if 29 would have stayed celebrating, the play would have actually been better. Because he was the guy that tipped it up to the back of the end zone. So think of that.
And things are only going to get more difficult for the Chicago Bears because that was almost kind of a must-win game for them because now they have the most difficult schedule remaining in the NFL. Their remaining opponents have a win percentage of .632 left. They got 2 against the Lions, 2 against the Packers, 2 against the Vikings, 49ers, Seahawks, and Cardinals. The only easy game they have left is the Patriots, which is that Is that next week or is that the week after?
Well, and we'll see how easy that game is.
They got Cardinals this week and then the Patriots the week after. So not looking good for the Bears playoffs. 10P Kid says, I had no problem with it. I have a future with the Bears not to make the playoffs. Looking pretty good after that loss. Yeah, the Chicago fans in the video were pointing to the guy, telling him that the ball was live and to go cover the receivers as he's turning around celebrating.
And he's like, do it. And he's like this. And then he's like throwing his hands. Like he's like, come on, guys. You're messing with me. And he's like, oh, bleep. You guys aren't messing with me because why the hell would they be messing with you?
Yeah. Speaking about teams whose playoff hopes probably over, the New York Jets. Season's done. Can we say that?
Yes.
Officially. The Jets still had a little bit of an outside shot, 2-5. They had to beat the worst team in the NFL, the New England Patriots, this weekend, and they could not do that. They lost to the Patriots, and now their season 2-6. Texans on Thursday night. Some tough games down the stretch. AFC East, the Bills have basically locked it up, so their only hope is a wild card. I think it's over for the New York Jets. The Aaron Rodgers experiment has been a failure. Credit to me for calling this before the season started. I wrote articles. I made videos about it. People telling me I was an idiot. And I actually said that they might have the same record or maybe 1 or 2 games better than last year. They're going to have a worse record than last year. I don't know if they'll reach 7 wins.
Maybe bring back Zach Wilson.
Trade for Zach Wilson. Bring him back.
No, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't get how they're so bad. Like, they're really talented player-wise. Clearly, also, of course, since they fired Robert Saleh, what are they, 0-3?
Yep.
Maybe Robert Saleh just a scapegoat and the defense looks a lot worse. Hey, maybe he wasn't the issue. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers like everyone thought. Now, I had some questions. I was bullish on the Jets because of talent alone. They revamped their offensive line. I go, okay, their defense is still electric. Their defense has taken a step back. Not great. I don't understand how they are so bad. I don't get it. Tyron Smith at left tackle has been brutal, by the way. I mean, the first few games, everyone's talking about, oh, he looks like the same guy. He's been horrendous. I mean, I don't know. They're just a boring team to watch. Rodgers looks disinterested. He blames everyone else for his mistakes, which we should have all saw coming. They need a complete overhaul. I mean, they do. Bringing in Devontae Adams, you're like, well, maybe that means Aaron Rodgers can stick around one more year. Screw that. Move on. Blow it up. It ain't working.
I'll defend the Jets for a second here because I do think they're actually better than their record is. I do think they've had some, call it bad luck, call it, a lack of clutch gene by Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, they have lost some games that they definitely should. They should have beat the Patriots. They outplayed the Patriots this week. They missed a game-winning field goal against the Broncos. They only scored 9 points on offense. Was it against the Jets that they were driving for late in the game? Was it? Or
they are the Jets.
Was it against the Bills? They were driving late in the game, and Aaron Rodgers threw an interception.
But so that's on them. You scored 9 points and lose on a game-winning field goal. Like, okay, you scored 9 points.
I'm just saying a lot of their losses could have gone their way. And they every close game they've been in this season has gone against them.
What's the NFL? Bad teams lose close games. The Chiefs win close games. Bad teams lose close games, and they find a way to complain about it. That's what they do every single time. Well, if this would have gone our way, and if this would have gone their way, they never bring up the times when things do go their way. That's always thrown aside. That's just a given that for some reason those things would happen. Like, they're just bad. Yeah,
fair enough. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is having the worst season of his career by far. 10P Kids.
And Jacoby Brissett, by the way. It wasn't even Drake May the whole game. Drake May went out with a concussion. Drake May played, the first drive? 2 drives?
Yeah, a couple drives.
I mean, just hilarious. They give 25 points to a team that Jacoby Brissett threw for 132 yards. Ramondre Stevenson ran for 2.4 yards, and they still lost. Hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think their defense has necessarily been horrific. I mean, 21.3 points per game that they've given up. That's 11th in the NFL. And I mean, Rodgers has put them in some bad spots with some bad interceptions. They allow the fewest yards per play, or second fewest yards per play in the NFL. 4.7.
Dude, they give up 37 to the Steelers, 25 to the Patriots. 62 points in back-to-back weeks to those offenses.
Yeah.
No, you're bad.
14th in EPA. That's not good. Yeah, certainly. At the very least, they've taken a step back from the defense they were a couple of years ago. But you know what's interesting is they've had their worst defensive performances since they've fired Robert Saleh,
which he was known as a defensive coach.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe that wasn't the best move in the world. The Philadelphia Eagles, we were talking about, I think heading into this game, we were talking about their game against the Bengals being that the winner is going to come out kind of looking like a contender. The Eagles kind of destroyed the Bengals, and no one really is talking about it, I feel like. The Eagles, I think, I'm looking at them as an NFC contender.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Sean talked about it, how once Cooper DeJean moved into the slot, the secondary has improved a good amount. You're seeing that. I mean, the Bengals offense had been electric the past, 5 weeks, really? Joe Burrow and the offense had really started to get something going. Now, I will also point out, if you're a Bengals fan, you have to be terrified. And here's why. You went almost all in this season, and it's not looking good. Making the playoffs looks like a stretch right now. It's going to be a grind.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And you went all in. Not just that. There's been that unrest with Jamar. But what about T. Higgins? Because when T. Higgins plays, the offense looks pretty good. They do. They look like a top 5 offense, when top 3 offense when T. Higgins plays. When T. Higgins is out, what happens?
Yeah,
they
do not
brutal.
Have 2 options. Yeah.
And they have some receivers like Jermaine Burton, Yosevich. Like, they have guys. They're not elite guys, but that brings me back to Joe Burrow. What is Joe Burrow then? Because he still has Jamar Chase out there.
Yep.
He still has some decent receivers. I just don't understand. I don't want to say Joe Burrow is just a system quarterback, but you got to elevate. You have a legit top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and if you don't have a wide receiver 2, you can't move the football? That should be alarming if you're a Bengals fan, because T. Higgins most likely is not coming back next year. We can all agree on that. So what is this Bengals team? If you're a Bengals fan, I think you should be pretty scared right now.
Yeah, Bengals only got 4.8 yards per play. Not good. And the Eagles all of a sudden looking quietly, they're 5-2. Stumbled out of the gates a little bit, but I mean, AJ Brown was missing those games. Since they've kind of got a little bit healthy and they figured some things out on defense, the Eagles are all of a sudden looking like a legitimate contender. They are still the favorites to win the NFC East over the Commanders. I'm going to be fascinated to see when the Eagles do play the Commanders, what game? That's week 11. They play the Commanders for the first time. That'll be interesting. That'll be a fascinating game.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with the Eagles' talent. Again, you know my thoughts. I think Howie Roseman is one of the best GMs in football. Really like Howie Roseman. Does a great job bringing talent in, developing, drafting. I just think that Nick Sirianni's a boob. I just think Nick Sirianni's a bad head coach.
Yeah.
I do. I think the Eagles would be so much better off if they had a legitimate head coach instead of just a puppet or a mascot who, for some reason, is a fan. They basically picked a guy in the 7th row in Philly, and they're like, hey, South Philly guy, you're now our head coach. That's basically what they have. But there's no denying how talented they are. And if that defense starts getting going, as we're talking about, they are a scary team.
Yeah. I would put them right up there with... Are they the number 3 contender in the NFC? Lions still kind of have to take the 49ers serious, and then is it the Eagles?
Oh, Niners are only going to be second once they get all their guys back.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I'm putting the Eagles above the Niners. Right now. Once McCaffrey comes back, and
he's supposed to be back after their bye week next week. So.
Oh, trust me, I know. As a fantasy football owner, I expect him to be back.
Any thoughts on the Chiefs win? Beat the Raiders. I mean, there were some question marks, certainly, especially in the early goings of that game. Did not cover the spread. Raiders did cover the spread. Recap of your Chiefs.
I mean, I told you, take the points. It's AFC West. This is the Raiders Super Bowl. Antonio Pierce, by the way, who said he has the recipe, that recipe is expired, dog. You're using bad ingredients. Antonio Pierce is a clown. Okay? I get it. I'm wrong. I thought he was the right guy for the job. I thought he was going to bring back this Raiders culture, flip this thing around. All he's done is call out players All he's done is he's kind of like Nick Sirianni. He's just been a rah-rah guy. That does not work in the NFL. And if it does, you have to have rings for that to work. He doesn't. I was wrong. I thought Antonio Pierce was going to turn that thing around. He talks the talk. He does not walk the walk. Now, there have been injuries. They obviously traded Devontae Adams. That's not all on him. But it was going downhill quick before that. Christian Wilkins has been injured. I get it. But injuries happen to every single team. You have to overcome. The Raiders do not. Max Crosby was held in check. Jawan Taylor kicked his ass. Petty Pat came out. I think this was Mahomes' almost best game of the season. I know he had the interception. It was a tipped ball. If you blame a tipped ball on him at the line of scrimmage, I mean, okay, I get it. But he was cutting up this Raiders defense. And the Chiefs defense, again, was elite. I mean, the Chiefs defense, that was a late touchdown. It was a little backdoor. The Chiefs defense was incredible. They turned the ball over like on the goal line. Raiders run 4 straight plays, 4 straight stops.
That was the end of the game. Yeah.
Chiefs defense is just, with all the injuries. I mean, look at who they're playing at cornerback. Iain, I think I saw you out there at one point for at least 3 snaps. But Steve Spagnuolo, the DC, is really getting things going. He's sending everyone on a blitz. I've been impressed with the Chiefs defense. Chiefs offense does just enough. Travis Kelce might be back. And DeAndre Hopkins didn't play a ton. He played early. But once he gets going in the Chiefs offense, 30's going to start getting back on the table.
You know who stinks? Alexander Mattison. He was horrific. Running back.
14 carries for 15 yards, huh?
And he's been bad all season. He's missing holes. He's not reading his blocks correctly. I don't know why they continue to feed him. He might be. He is the worst starting running back in the NFL. It's not even close.
Well, because they had Zamir White, who was somehow worse.
Yeah.
Hey, 10P kid, same time, dude. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a bad team, you got to at least get a somewhat effective running back, and they don't. They have that rookie. Give that rookie a shot. What's his name? Dylan Loeb. Give him a shot, because that Madison stinks.
Give Iain a shot. Give college running back superstar Iain MacMillan a shot.
People forget. Over 100 career rushing yards in Canadian college football. People forget.
Wait, how many?
Over 100. It's like 104.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Iain MacMillan, RB. See, I didn't forget. Look at that. I knew, because I care about you.
Yeah. All right. Sunday Night Football. Quick thoughts on Sunday Night Football before we get to Monday Night Football. Is the Cowboys season over? You want to talk about another team that has failed to live up to expectations? Cowboys now have a losing record, 3-4 through the first 8 weeks of the season. Not good. It's over.
Yeah, I'm perplexed by this, because they're always good in the regular season. Like I never once questioned the Cowboys winning 11 games and collapsing. And Philip, yes, we will talk Falcons before we get out of here. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Damn it.
They just roll over. It's like once they get down, they just quit. And then late in the fourth quarter, they just try and rally and put up garbage time stats. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Like this, how many times have we seen this? They get down, they just collapse. They're like, we're done. And then fourth quarter, like, well, let's just try and make it close. Let's just go ahead and get frisky with it now. Brutal. Good for the Niners. They were able to find a way. Again, they're running out Isaac Grindo now at running back. I mean, they're just finding ways. George Kittle was outstanding. By the way, Kittle's had a quietly amazing year. Look at Kittle's numbers. He's been really good this season. Nice little resurgence for George Kittle. Brock Purdy, I still have some questions about. Last year, Brock Purdy was outstanding, right? This year, he's been a little bit of a question mark. Some of that does come with injury. Yeah, the Cowboys, I don't get, man. I just don't get. I don't understand them. You're right.
Dak Prescott has been horrific. His lowest completion percentage since his second year in the NFL, by far his lowest QBR, lowest quarterback rating, 8 interceptions, is on pace to throw the most interceptions he has in his career. He's been horrific. Now, I don't know if that's lack of offensive weapons. I don't know if that's play calling. I don't know if he's just having a bad season, but Dak Prescott has been horrific.
He doesn't have the same weapons he has, but he hit CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has been great. He's been outstanding. But I thought Jake Ferguson's a solid tight end. Feels like he doesn't really look his way. Some of it has to be play calling. Don't get me wrong. I like the fullback as much as anyone, but like it feels like the fullback's like way too involved in that offense. Turpin's okay. What Brandon Cooks has been injured, if I'm not mistaken. It's just not a good team. I mean, there's not playing good football. Their cornerbacks, the secondary, Trayvon Diggs he's not good. I don't know what happened to Trayvon Diggs. He went from boom or bust to all bust.
Well, even in that season where he was getting 1 million interceptions, people were saying that he wasn't actually playing well. Like interceptions is like one thing, but like his coverage numbers were bad. But people were like, yeah, it doesn't matter because he gets so many interceptions. Well, now he's not getting the interceptions.
Yeah, it's not boom or bust. It's just bust.
Yeah. I guess I'll give my quick thoughts on the Falcons, but I don't really have anything additional to say because I think everything I said last week about them kind of holds up. They are a team that probably needs to score 30 points to win, and if they do, then they'll probably win. If their offense has, even a B- game, they're probably going to lose. Their defense has a lot of issues. They have 0 pass rush. They do a bend but don't break defense, but at least in the first half last week, they broke. But I will say they continue to play much better in the second half defensively than the first half. But they did almost give away that game. Hail Mary at the end. Thank God the completed Hail Mary wasn't in the Falcons game. That would have destroyed me. Younghoe Koo missed a kick that would have made it an 8-point game. Some things went wrong. I mean, the Falcons are going to be a playoff team. They're going to win the NFC South. They're going to host a playoff game, which was my goal at the start of the year. They might even win a game, but they're not a Super Bowl team unless they fix their defense. Maybe they can get Myles Garrett at the trade deadline. That would then make them a potential Super Bowl team, but they just don't have the defense for it right now. I don't like what their defensive coordinator has been doing. Maybe we can get Robert Salah in at defensive coordinator in the offseason. I think our DC has been bad. It is what it is. Kyle Pitts is having a breakout year, but I actually don't think it's because he's playing well. I think teams have stopped covering him because he stinks, and then he just gets wide open. Because if you watch Kyle Pitts catches, there's no one close to him. Like, he's not doing anything. He's just wide open.
It's like if you or I were playing, and the defense is like...
Yeah, I think Kirk or maybe it was Raheem. One of them said, I think it was Kirk said it after the game. On Kyle Pitts' first touchdown, they doubled both Mooney and Drake London. So Kyle Pitts was just wide open. So, I'm not kind of sold on Kyle Pitts now being an elite tight end. I just think teams know that he stinks, so they're just kind of not guarding him. But hey, I'll take it. I mean, he's good enough to catch wide open balls and run for a few yards. But Falcons are going to be a playoff team, which is good. It's a good step in the right direction. But we got to address the defense in the offseason because it's not it. And we got a couple years with Kirk.
What do the Bucs teach you? Because I thought that was impressive, that their ability to fight and stay in the game with that wide receiver core is decimated, right?
Yeah.
Bucky Irving is starting to have some emergence at the running back position, especially as a pass catcher. But what was your takeaway on the Buccaneers in that one?
Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. I mean, he threw a couple interceptions, not good, but Baker Mayfield can get the job done. I mean, he's played with not great receivers in the past, especially if you give him time to throw, which the Falcons do.
Yeah, I was left impressed with Baker keeping it that close. They play the Chiefs this upcoming week, Monday Night Football. Yeah. But I was impressed with the fact that Baker, with that group of guys, was able to still put up a 26 spot. I was like, okay, they're not rolling over. They might still find a way to sneak into a doubtful but a wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons now have their sole possession first place, but even more importantly, 4-0 in the division, 2-0 against their biggest competitor. So the Falcons would have to, obviously like lose the division outright. If it's any type of tie, they will win the tie.
Yeah.
10P Kids is what playoff contenders do you think the Falcons can beat if they have a home playoff game? Let's take a quick look. I mean, I think they could beat the Vikings at home.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
I mean, they could.
They could.
If an NFC West team sneaks into a wild card spot, the Cardinals, they could beat at home. The Rams, I think they could beat at home. The Packers, I think they could beat at home. I mean, could and will are two different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only teams right now that I would look at as being like an automatic loss for the Falcons would be like the Lions and the 49ers. I think they could beat any other team in the NFC. The Commanders, if the Eagles win the division and the Falcons host the Commanders, will beat the Commanders. Can't beat the 49ers. No, we're not going to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, that'd be bad news, Bears.
Yeah, we're not going to beat the Lions. Lions are going to put up 80 points on us. Oh, by the way, I want to say this stat before we quickly talk Monday Night Football. The Lions scored 52 points in 47 plays yesterday. That's 1.106 points per play. I don't think I've ever seen a team average more than a point per snap of the football. That's crazy.
Yeah, Jared Goff threw like 85 yards and 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
It was just an ass kicking.
They were outgained in yards per play 5.9 to 4.8 and won by like 38 points.
Well, because they couldn't get any more yards. Like they were just so efficient.
I mean, I've never seen a team hand wins to their opponents like the Tennessee Titans have done this year. They have an elite defense, but it doesn't matter because they suck so bad on both offense and special teams that the defense can like literally shut out the other team's offense and they'll still lose.
Yeah, they got 52 points, and it was like all the offense and special teams' fault.
Yeah, the defense
like
the defense held the lines to 4.8 yards per play. Pretty decent.
You feel for the defense because you know they're getting ripped on, and you're like, it wasn't their fault.
No,
it's not your fault.
I mean, they did give up 6.8 yards per carry, which is not good. But all right, let's quickly just talk Monday Night Football. Giants, Steelers. Steelers 6-point favorites, over under 36.5. So likely going to be a bit of a low-scoring, boring game. I alluded to it on Wednesday's show. The Giants are my upset pick of the week. I think they win here. I think it's a sell high spot on the Steelers. I think Russell Wilson will not play as well as he did last week against the Jets. I think he'll look like Broncos Russell Wilson. And the Giants, especially with their pass rush, Giants are kind of feisty. They're not a good team, but they're a team that, like, if you don't bring your A game, they can. It's going to be a close one.
I would go with the points for the Giants because 6 is a good amount for an offense in the Steelers that I don't really trust. It also comes down to what Giants team are you going to get? What Daniel Jones are you going to get?
Yeah.
The guy that put up 29 against the Seahawks or the guy that put up 6 against the Vikings? I mean, like 25% of the time, Daniel Jones looks like, okay, I see why they gave him the money. Then 75% of the time you go, this guy looks like a third stringer. Which Daniel Jones will we get? The issue is I think the Steelers defense is pretty darn good. I think they're salty. Is that going to force him into a lot of stupid mistakes, which we know Daniel Jones can make? Or will it make him run the football a bleep ton where he's having to get out of the pocket and run, where then that may be the best part of his game? He's dangerous with his legs. We'll see. I'll take Giants with the 6. By the way, I'm so mad at myself. I did not put money on the Browns to win outright.
We called it.
We talked about it.
We called it, yeah.
We talked about it.
I meant to, too. I was going to Sunday morning take Browns money line. I forgot.
I just took the points. And that was an easy one. But I was like, I'm so mad at myself. We talked about it.
Yeah, and exactly, I said, if the Ravens have a game where they have a little bit of a hiccup offensively, they're going to lose to a bad team, and that's exactly what happened.
Serious final thoughts, though, on Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson has to play good. They have to win, because if they lose, their calls for Fields will be outlandish, right? You can't lose to the Giants and then stick with Russ, in my opinion. So we'll see, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Russ.
Yes, I am, as a Giants bettor, I'm very concerned about the Steelers pass rush. They might sack Daniel Jones double-digit times.
Well, that's what I said. Is he
TJ Watt can I bet on TJ Watt setting the single game sack record? It might happen tonight.
8.
Is that what the record is?
Yeah, Derek Thomas for the Chiefs.
Was it 8? Yeah. Okay, maybe he won't set that then. He could. If there's a game for it to happen, it's TJ Watt against this Giants offensive line. All right.
Well, he had 7, so he would have to get 8.
Would set the record. 7.5 would set the record technically. Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Subscribe to Stack in the Box on YouTube. We'll be back Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, to preview NFL Week 9 action. Best luck with your bets tonight. Let's go Giants. Ride with me on Giants money line. Let's go. Talk to y'all Wednesday.